It is. Our aim was to get the best of both worlds. Our aim was to get the productivity of the small team or the sole operator, but the economies of scale you get from working as a group.
Yeah.
So what we want to do is combine them both. So when you're in this factory, in this atmosphere of making these things with this brand that's present in the marketplace that means something, which generates.
So brand is one economy of scale.
It is, yeah,
huge,
because you attract work.
Because I remember you saying to me years ago, there's no such thing as economy of scale. You weren't talking about brand. You were talking about purchasing, for example, or manufacturing. Yeah. No such thing as economy of scale.
Yeah.
And that just really messed with my head. But now I say that to everyone else.
Yeah.
Because I really, for example, I charge more to big companies than small companies for training. Yeah. For all sorts of reasons. They're just harder to deal with and they're richer.
Yeah.
And so big companies are paying more for their training. They don't get economies of scale.
Big companies.
And they pay more for their paper.
Yeah.
Because there's very few people who can supply such large quantities of paper, whereas the small guy sniffs around for a little bargain on eBay or whatever.
Yeah.
And so they pay more. And even sandwiches on a training course, we have to have the sandwiches from Central Services, which are crap sandwiches. Central Services charge like 20 quid a head. And I'm thinking, well, for 8 quid a head, I could go down to the local shop and they've got really nice sandwiches. This little bloke who makes lovely sandwiches. And so they're not getting economies of scale for most things that I'm looking at.
No, but the real truth is they're getting diseconomies of scale.
Yes.
Because their requirement, say for instance, when I was in cable manufacturing, the biggest players had a requirement for huge quantities of
biggest
cable.
Customers.
Yeah, biggest customers.
And they didn't get it cheaper.
Well, the problem is that they didn't buy it cheaper. So that sounds a strange thing to say. But just because you buy a huge amount of volume doesn't mean to say you buy it cheaper. If you buy, let's say, everything in half a pallet, and it's actually cheaper to buy in a pallet, but your strategy at the head office is to buy everything in half pallets, the cost of supplying the goods is actually higher than if it was just palletized, stuck in a wagon, and delivered. But because you want a bespoke mix, overall you buy phenomenal amounts of stuff. But because you want I'm a very important customer, and you've got a bespoke mix, I want 7 of them, 10 of them, and then you palletize all that, and we're thinking, well, not that, no. That's just injecting a whole lot of costs into our supply chain.
So because of the craziness that happens in big companies, and they lose sight of what's really happening.
Yeah, they do.
They end up paying more.
They do. But they should pay more as well.
Yeah.
Because it costs a lot more to service them.
And then even in production, big machines often are not more efficient than smaller machines because if they break down, it's a total disaster, and they're less flexible, and they're not fully utilised, and they take a lot of setting up. And the dream of the big machine that just bangs out super efficient stuff often is not realised.